years old. His birthday was this week. It was a very emotional week because it's my birthday and he was my birthday gift. And he was born 2 days later in the Hebrew calendar and the English calendar. So it was a very emotional week for me to have birthdays, and I grow and he's frozen in time, 6 years old. But birthday, I want to talk to you a little bit about what birthday in the Jewish, according to Judaism, it means. Birthday is the day that our soul was given to us and we signed a contract with God. God gives us our body, our soul, our mission, the surrounding, everything, all the tools and instruments that we're going to need in order to fulfill our mission. And he believes in us. And he trusts us that we could do this mission. And every year on our birthday, it's like Hashem saying, I trust you. Here, go with it. You get another year. Bezat Hashem. So we don't take that for granted at all. And we asked rabbis after our son died, do we celebrate the day of his birthday? And I was like, of course. It's the day that we were very fortunate to have our son. We waited for him many years, and he was so precious and beautiful. And we learned so much from him. He would have been 11 years old. We probably would have been starting to talk about bar mitzvah, getting ready for his parsha and all that. So the greatest way to memorialize him and give him continuity and a legacy is a room full of Torah. So I really want to thank all of you, because the greatest gift for bereaved parents is that their kid is not forgotten. He doesn't have children. He will not have a bar mitzvah. He will not get married. So for me, it's very important to keep his memory alive. And God willing, I hope in 2 years, if resurrection of the dead, Tchias Amesim, for some reason doesn't happen, I'm totally banking on it for it to happen, I would love to have a Sefer Torah written in his name, because he was a Sefer Torah. There was so much that we learned from our son, and we definitely changed as parents, as individuals, as a community, and he changed the world because he touched so many people. We look at this week's Parsha, Noach, and we see something that's very puzzling. There was a terrible thing, a flood. We know a little bit about floods here in Houston, right? So magnify that like a million times. And basically the generation was demolished, destroyed, extinguished. And thank God, Noach is in the ark, preserving creation, the animals, humanity, right? His family is going to repopulate the world. And Noach comes out of the ark, and what does he do? He goes to Vegas. And he plants a vineyard, kind of like going to Vegas. And the Torah rebukes him for that he was cursed for that. Like, why did you do that? Like, you come out, you saw a whole generation being wiped out. You needed to learn from it. It should have changed you. He was very righteous. We're not doubting that he was righteous, but there's definitely, it wasn't the first thing to plant. We would have thought like a wheat field would have been a little bit of a better choice, but a generation that was so denigrated by sin and violence, planting a vineyard would be the last thing you want to start planting after such a situation. So tying this a little to what I was just saying, when my son passed away, and obviously everybody who knew us and knew him and were very involved in this journey, it changed all of us. And if a story happens and it doesn't change us, something's wrong. Rabbi Nachman says something very important. He says that we have to view the world as things are not things are happening to us, but things are happening for us. We're not victims. Things are happening for us to grow from. After my son died, we went to visit a very big, great rabbi, Rabbi Moshe Shapira, Zichrono Levacha, one of the greatest sages of the last generation. He passed away about a year ago. And we specifically went to see him. We were very broken, and he had lost his daughter to cancer. And we needed some words to inspire us, something to hold us up, to not fall apart. And we felt like he would understand because he went through it. And his daughter suffered tremendously. And she was a teenager when she died. And he said to us, I am today who I am because of my daughter. All the Torah, everything I am is because of my daughter. It totally transformed him. Was he a tzaddik before? Yeah. But he took this experience of the journey, this horrific journey that they went through, and turned it into giving and teaching and inspiring. You could just Google his name, most amazing, amazing articles. And I was reading something so beautiful that he said, and I thought about it as such an interesting concept, that after his daughter died, people were talking to him and said, why are you not bitter? And he says, you have to understand something. There are 3 partners in man, right? The mother, the father, and Hashem. In a business deal, if there's 3 partners, yeah? If there's something that's going to happen in the business, a change, a decision, all partners have to agree for the change. But in a situation that one of the partners, there's something that's totally going to benefit the business, this foundation, whatever this is, they're allowed to override the other partners and go for it. Now, obviously, go and ask your local Orthodox rabbi. I don't want some partner to come to me and say, oh, Rabbi Cohen said, I could totally do this without asking my partner. But in a situation where it's completely clear that it's going to benefit they're allowed to do it. And Rabbi Moshe Shapiro was implying that obviously God, which was one of the partners, saw that there was great benefit, and this is how it had to happen. Now, I have to tell you, these are words that are hard to swallow for us as parents, But I try to internalize it all the time and say, okay, Hashem knows better than us. Obviously, I've negotiated with God, and we were knocking on heaven's doors, and we wanted a different outcome. And all those prayers that went didn't go in vain, because a lot of people sometimes say to me, how do you stay strong and inspired, and something really bad happened to you? And I really do look at it as the prayers were answered. Hashem said no. But he answered. I don't like the answer, but this was what's meant to be. For his tikkun, for my son's tikkun, for our tikkun, for the community's tikkun, this was something that we had to go through, and I don't understand why. And I think bereaved parents are probably going to be first in line in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They'll get a meeting, and only up there will understand why we had to go through this. But I do want to take a moment for all of us to pray that may Hashem reveal a good cure for cancer. Right now, dealing with a few families in the community that are going through this. And it's nothing to take for granted. And that's really the one very amazing thing that happened to our family through this terrible ordeal, is that we have such an appreciation for very little things now. Like wow, I'm not in hospital. Wow, I could breathe. Wow, my kids are so cute. Like things that I didn't take that I took for granted before, now I don't. My kid could be up at 11 o'clock at night. Yes, I'm still normal and it bothers me. But I say, wow, thank God they're normal. They have the energy to be up at 11 o'clock and drive me crazy, because I understand the other side of it, right? So I want to thank all of you tonight for the Torah dedicated to my son, and may he continue to have aliyah. I believe he's in a very high place, but in a spiritual world, the world of, if there's this law of entanglement, what we do here affects things up there. So when we do Kaddish, when we do mitzvot, we're giving him continuity. And at this point, I want to invite a very nice guy there, which I'm going to go on a date with him tomorrow night.
I don't know if I can beat her. Okay, I can't.
Can't beat him, join him.
No way. Just quickly,
Date?
just briefly.
Just date me.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Just a little, of the many, many, many things that I learned from my son, and I'm still learning from Alicia. Just something brief, something that everybody could take with them. It can't be iterated enough and cannot be integrated enough. And that's the idea of gratitude, and not to take things for granted. We take so much. And my son, Alicia, has taught me so much in the experience that he went through, that when I even swallow food, people cannot take swallowing for granted. He couldn't eat after his surgery. Standing, you think it is something you could do? He could barely stand. Something in the brain has to be a right balance exactly. So many details go into simply standing. Walking, every step. A person should go through life, every single step. There was this one rabbi, as he grew older, he would be constantly saying as he's walking, Ki le'olam chazda, which means his kindness exists forever, with every single step he was saying. So many things that Alicia taught in terms of just the ability to move and the ability to walk, because he never walked again. He never swallowed. Speaking, we think we take it for granted. The idea is, one of the things that Alicia has taught me was, don't take anything for granted. And actually, to take the time as much as you can, any moment that you're free. And you can just sit and thank God. And I teach this in my classes. A lot of people, they're sitting pumping gas. And while they're sitting pumping gas, if they're not looking at that screen that's trying to sell you something, right? They're staring into space, okay? Because you shouldn't really have your cell phone when you're pumping gas, guys, in case you didn't know that, okay? So you can take the time there. At that time when you're pumping gas, we're in a country where we pump gas. So, you know, we could, and say, wow, what can I really have deep gratitude for God and express that gratitude? Whether it's I can see color, I can hear, I can speak, I can swallow, I can chew food. I do this all the time. And I give you that blessing that you should only continue to embellish gratefulness and be more and more grateful. The more we're grateful, the greater things that God bestows upon us. We should all have that blessing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's hard to follow something like that. Anything else is so beautiful and so deep. But we're going to try one more time, just to show you a beautiful success story.
Mute again.
Don't think it's working.
Make it talk live.
Yeah, he's here.
Okay, so while I'm